This hour, Australia has retained the Ashes after driving rain in Manchester forced a draw, denying England victory in the fourth test. The fickle English weather ensuring the urn remains in Australia's keeping. Live to Sarah Greenhalgh in London. Sarah, no jubilant scenes for the Aussies at Old Trafford, but satisfaction nonetheless.
Chevo, no jubilant scenes, no thrilling finale either for fans, disappointingly. It was a bit of an anticlimax after what had been an exciting and at times very controversial Ashes series. But as you say, this persistent rain, horrendous summer weather in Manchester today meant that not a single ball was bowled, no play at all, with Australia retaining the Ashes. It was a draw. The series was 2-1 in Australia's favour heading into Manchester, so England needed to win this to keep the series alive. The Australian captain, Pat Cummins, has admitted that it wasn't the best circumstance. He is proud of his team nonetheless. The English captain not so happy about it, admitting it was a pretty bitter pill to swallow. The Aussies would still like to win the series outright, so they do have the chance to do that with the fifth test starting at the Oval on Thursday. Chevo?
Yeah, win the series and we'll party like nothing else. Thanks, Sarah. Here's Nat.
Thank you, Chevo. Investigators remain on the hunt for a gunman in Sydney this morning after 3 people were shot in their cars in what appears to be the newest chapter of the city's gang wars. Live to Liam Tapper in Bankstown this morning. Liam, police think 2 of these victims may have been innocent.
Yeah, good morning, Nat. They certainly do, and that's what makes this so unique in that it does have all the hallmarks of a gangland hit. However, these people who are involved, they don't have a criminal record. They have very minimal interaction with police, and that's what makes police this morning scratching their heads as to find a motive. Now, the young couple who were in that car, these 2 people, these are the fears that many police, but also people in the community have had, that innocent people will get caught up in the crossfire, and police believe this is exactly what's happened. A young man, a 22-year-old man, he's undergone surgery, I've been told, overnight. He does remain in a critical condition. That young woman who was in the car next to him, she still has serious wounds from those bullets. Now, the 25-year-old man who was 50 metres down the road, police believe this morning that he was the target. Ahmed Al-Azam, a 25-year-old, as I said, with minimal interactions with police, but nothing that would link him to the gangland feud that we've seen across the streets of Western Sydney. However, police do believe this morning that he was the target. Nat, they're throwing everything they have at this in the latest brazen shooting in Sydney.
OK, thank you, Liam.
Let's get some more news now. Here's Eddie.
Thank you, Chevo. Good morning. Criminals have apparently lost all fear of the law in Queensland's worsening crime crisis. That's according to former cops. Let's go live to Georgie Chumley in Brisbane. Georgie, they say the criminals are no longer running from police but at them.
Good morning, Eddie. That's right. Experts say that Queensland has descended into a state of lawlessness where criminals, like you say, are no longer afraid of police. They're actually relishing taunting them, not only online but actually in person as well. For example, earlier this year in Townsville, some youth criminals rammed police cars and then they actually chased the police back to a police station instead of the other way around after injuring them. Here in Queensland, we account for almost a third of all car thefts that occur right across the nation, more than in New South Wales and in Victoria. And last week we saw the horrific outcome of one of those violent carjackings. Rafferty Rolfe, I should say, a 25-year-old man, stole a vehicle from a woman at knife point in Gympie and then used that car in a crash that caused 3 other people to die after ramming his former girlfriend off the road on the Bruce Highway north of Noosa. He's actually set to face court over that violent carjacking later today. He's yet to be charged over the fatal crash at Federal. Eddie?
Thank you, Georgie. Casual workers across Australia could soon be in line for similar benefits to those in more permanent work arrangements. Let's go live to Jennifer Beshwadi in Canberra. Jen, the government is looking to introduce new workplace reforms.
Good morning, Eddie. Well, this is the latest round of the government's workplace reforms. Under these changes, more than 850,000 casual workers across the country would be able to access leave entitlements that only full-time employees get now, like annual leave and sick pay. It's for casual workers who work pretty much full-time hours to support their households, but just haven't been able to get that full-time contract. It's not for casuals like students who don't want a permanent job. Now, as is usually the case when the government introduces new workplace laws, business groups have already expressed concerns, saying that this would force many people into permanent jobs. But the government says that's not the case. It's just to offer job security for those who need it. Eddie?
Thanks so much, Jen.
Hospitals across Melbourne are bracing for an influx of influenza cases as a rising number of children are hospitalised, some critical after developing rare complications. Let's go live to Tegan Dolling in Melbourne. Tegan, morning. Doctors are warning the flu season is yet to peak this winter.
Good morning, Eddie. Parents who have sick kids probably already know this, but unfortunately the worst is yet to come with the flu season, and it seems as though kids are among the worst hit this year. The reason for that is because we are seeing a strain of influenza B, something that's not actually seen every year, and unfortunately a lot of our vaccines don't exactly cover that. Nationally, 160,000 flu cases have already been recorded and 134 deaths, and 70% of hospital admissions are actually kids under the age of 16. And doctors believe that a possible reason for that is because not enough kids are getting vaccinated. That currently sits at around 14%. Perhaps there's a bit of vaccine people not wanting to get the vaccine, because of all the vaccinations we've had to have with COVID. And Moderna's actually stepped up to the plate, and they say they're going to try and get a super jab. So it will include things like RSV, COVID and the flu, Eddie. So you just need one jab to be able to cover off all three.
Yeah, that really would be amazing. Thank you so much, Tegan. The AFL is on the hunt for the trolls behind a vile attack on one of its stars after Port Adelaide's Willie Rioli became the target of racist abuse. Let's go live to Sarah Jane Bell in Melbourne now. Sarah Jane, there's a united voice of support for Rioli from right across the league.
Eddie, this online abuse has overshadowed what was arguably one of the best games of the season, and both teams and the AFL have taken a strong stand. Those found responsible for these messages will receive a lifetime ban under new rules introduced earlier this year. Now, the Port Adelaide star forward was targeted following the blockbuster with Collingwood. Now, Rioli has copped a 2-week ban for an off-the-ball incident during the game that he followed with a crucial goal. Now, Collingwood coach Craig McRae has apologised to Rioli, saying there's no room for racism in the game, and the AFL's integrity unit is investigating with the eSafety Commissioner.
Thank you, Sarah Jane. 19,000 people have been evacuated from the Greek island of Rhodes in breaking news this morning as bushfires continue to burn out of control. The massive operation was the largest evacuation in Greece's history. Those evacuated are being housed at an indoor stadium and at hotels on the island. The wildfires continue to spread on 3 fronts with strong winds hampering the efforts of fire crews.